the Magi, the Yogi, the born again, the Adept, the metahuman Homo Angelicus aflamed with the God force Pentecostal Kundalini serpent power, observes and studies the mechanisms that form the basic structure behind the materialization of reality. A Magus assumes that consciousness, energy, has different wavelengths. These wavelengths of consciousness behave like radio frequencies. And these broadcasting companies are the expressions of the intelligences that we know as God, the mind of the divine, or speaking biblically, the Elohim, which is plural for gods, but the Elohim. These gods, or rather these cosmic radio stations, determine the events on our planet, and they exist in us and outside of us. When you tune your mind, your frequency, to the cosmic radio station, the radio transmitter of God, you become God, you become like God, you become divine when you tune to the divine. Now, lest you be suffering right now from religious trauma, that somehow I'm speaking blasphemy and that I'm saying that I'm God or something along those lines, and you are beginning to become worried about your mortal soul, that somehow blasphemy is going to be your undoing by tuning your mind to the mind of God, I want to remind you of a similar person. You perhaps know him as Jesus, who was crucified for tuning his mind and saying that he was God in flesh, and was crucified for such statements. According to the fourth gospel, Jesus was at Jerusalem during the Feast of Dedication, which took place in the winter. He was walking in the temple in the area known as Solomon's Porch. At this point, the Jews, the Pharisees, the Sadducees, but the organized religious experts, the West Huffs of Jesus' time, demanded to know plainly whether or not Jesus was in fact the Christ or the Messiah. Responding in a roundabout way, Jesus answered that his good works would tell who he was, at least for those who were receptive to the truth. But he followed that comment with a strong statement that clearly incensed the religious authorities of his day. Jesus stated, "I and my Father are one," he declared. And at this point, the Jews took up rocks to stone him. For then, Jesus asked, in effect, "For which of my good works do you want to stone me?" His question was obviously ironic, and it is clear that he actually knew the real reason for their anger. The Jews responded that they weren't stoning him for good works, but because that thou being a man makest thyself God. This world does not want you to become godlike. This world does not want you to become divine. This world wants you to keep your divine mental radio station, your divine frequency, your frequency tuned to the third dimension, to duality, to enslavement, to organized religion. Jesus was not a religious person. Jesus understood that all is mind and that the universe is mental. And only upon understanding that everything that exists in the material sense is only mental energy whose vibratory wavelength has decreased until it becomes solid, that has emanated forth from the mind of God into the physical reality, from the highest 12th dimension to this third dimension, can we then understand the importance of studying and educating the mind, of attuning your mind, your mental frequency to the mental frequencies of the divine? Because the brain is similar. Your brain is similar to a radio transmitter, which constantly sends out and receives radio waves. Now, of course, thought waves are much more subtle and powerful. All thought is electromagnetic energy of a high vibration. Your mind, your brain, is a powerful generator of energy whose vibratory wavelength depends upon the degree of culture and intellectual development of the individual. So if your mind is attuned to this world, it will be a carnal mind. It will not be the mind of God. And dear viewer, the sons of light are here among us, projecting geometries of creation into this third dimensional, from the higher dimensions into this third dimensional space, in order to code spiritual mankind into the fifth dimension, into the Satyuga of the Golden Age, the next larger membrane of the universe. It is incumbent upon you, if you wish to make this journey, to begin tuning your mind to the divine. This is not any kind of battle of words or defining what is good or what is evil. This is a heart, mind, brain coherence, heart-mind coherence of a divine frequency, where you have tuned your mind to the divine and you have risen in frequency as a metahuman upon the path of light. Namaste, namaskaram. Hit the subscribe button and leave this video a thumbs up, as it indicates to the algorithm that you are a believer and can receive modulated gravitational wave factors that are sent from a higher evolutionary master of intelligence of light, and that the transmission of knowledge contains codes of light that give you a realization of God's purpose.